Let's bring in author, journalist, and researcher Alan Hart, who joins us from London to tell us what he thinks about this. Alan Hart, I was trying to come up with a good question for you, and I'm going to refer to what you had on your website, EU's latest message to Israel, in which do your worst without fear of sanctions by U.S. Now, this is going back to 2012. Is this the case where Israel is just defying any type of condemnation coming from EU? And here, this, of course, implies that EU says go ahead and do what you want to do in the occupied Palestinian territories.
Look, I think what you have reported as news today, the latest attack on the Palestinians, it's hardly news to those of us who follow this. It's a continuation of Zionism's colonization of the West Bank. It's a continuing theft, almost on a daily basis, of more and more Palestinian land and water resources. I think it's not unfair to say that what it actually is a continuing ethnic cleansing, slowly and by stealth. And in my view, the position of the occupied and oppressed Palestinians has never been worse than it is today, and is worsening. Their current leadership is useless. Abbas is as good as being an American and Israeli stooge. The Palestinian diaspora either doesn't care enough to put its act together or is incapable of doing so, and the Arab regimes don't care a damn either. And if they do care, they're not willing to have any kind of confrontation with Zionism in America. That's where we are today.
And so what is there left to do in terms of the PA, for example? I mean, are there false promises that are being given? Are there any hopes for a so-called peace agreement to be reached? Or is that also something that's an illusion?
None whatsoever. I have written now, and I've said it repeatedly for a couple of years, what the occupied and oppressed Palestinians need to do is to demand that the PA be put out of its misery, hand the total responsibility for occupation back to Israel. That would make it somewhat easier for Israel to be called to account for its crimes.
Very well. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Alan Hart there, author, journalist, and researcher from London.